Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Plus Three Futures and Commodities Show. We are recording about 10 minutes before the close on Friday, the 8th of March. My name is Ben Maldonado. As always, I'm here with my partner, Barry Hederachi. Barry, how we doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty
We
good.
got we got an interesting movements today in the market right in our
hmm
cycle window. We had the Rebel
hmm
Yell cycle, and we had a lot of time counts coming in between the 8th and like the 10th and the 11th. So
That's right. That's right.
let's dive right in because I think it's fascinating the turns we saw today in some things.
I want to apologize to everybody because I'm traveling, so I'm on a laptop screen. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, it looks
You're
good.
okay with that? All right.
Looks good.
Everything to me is very odd because everything looks a little bigger on screen. But
Right, right.
all right. To pick it up where we left off last week, and if you guys are new, one thing is you can catch up by watching a couple of the older episodes because we kind of tie it all together every week. It's sort of pick up, it's like a new chapter of the same book for each market. So
Hmm.
we kind of pick up where we left off. And speaking of which, we left off with this, we had like a target box for the market, which we measured out is really between 5,200 and 5,310. And this box was the ideal zone. That said, we had a square that was coming up, we were setting up for, which was 90 days out from the low
Hmm.
and up 135 degrees. So it's 90 by 135. Yeah, we're off a couple of days, but that's okay.
And a couple of
Uh,
ticks only, man. That's really good.
yeah, we got very close to 5,200, 5,200. And the
Hmm.
other thing is if we look at we always normally review the 30 minute. And in the 30 minute, can you see that chart okay?
Yeah, this chart looks
Ben?
fine.
It's okay. All right. So take a look at the 30 minute just for a second. I want to show you how, we had 5190
Nice. Look
as
at
a
that.
resistance area, and
Yeah.
we tapped it right to it this morning. Well, 5162 was like the major level we've been watching.
Yep.
And the basic move we were expecting, square to halfway point was 5070 to 5162, with 5190 being sort of the buffer zone, like to catch catch any kind of overrun, which is kind of
Hmm.
what we had today. We spiked up there, sort
It's
of grab
classic,
all
wasn't
the,
it?
it was classic. And then we broke through below 5162, and now we're trading lower. And the same thing happened before the move started. We talk about false breaks and sort of getting everybody on the wrong footing. Well, here's a move where we
Yeah.
went down to 50, 50, 70, reversed, and then we moved higher. So that's kind of how it looks
The games that
on.
they play.
Yep, yep, for sure. So that's how we got up to, that's on the daily. It looks very close. Obviously, we're within 10 points,
Hmm.
and so it's 5,200. And what can we say about this? Well, we've been talking about this level for a while. We talked about, initially it was this 48.51, just seems like yesterday.
Hmm.
And we were stuck there. We had a kind of a square, and instead of selling off, we basically consolidated, which is bullish, and broke that flag to the upside. And not exactly a barn burner, but we did manage to get up here, right, into that
Hmm.
50% of the square. And if you guys know, we always look at in terms of full squares and half squares, and sometimes other divisions of the square. So here, after we got a really clean and kind of enthusiastic break, it was very clean. Had one pullback, and here we are. Now we're at the 50% point. And if you guys watched it last week, we had a number of potential time windows for this week, just like Ben said at the beginning, 8th,
I think
11th,
you had
right?
8th, 10th, 11th. Yep.
hmm So it's a little bit of a bracket. And we're watching. Yeah, it's not, we didn't get the 90 exactly, but it's close enough to monitor it. At least we're close to price. We're pretty close to time too, a few
Hmm.
bars off, but that's okay. And when it's like this, what we do is you watch to see what the price action is in the coming days. We're really looking for some kind of a lower high to confirm that. And we talked about that a lot more last week, so you guys might want to check it out.
Hmm.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, so for this chart for next week, all we're doing, we have 5,200 until we get settled above it. It's possible we can get trapped between 52 and 5,300 for a while. That's a kind of
Hmm.
a sort of a bracket. if we do that. If we don't, then as you can see, we have plenty of room to trade down into the 5,000 level and to test that. So I want to talk about the this is the calendar day chart, and you can see where on the other chart you saw, I just want to make a distinction here. So we have 90 days. These are all trading days, right? So just trading days. Here, calendar days. So we have the weekends already counted, and if you do that, this square looks awfully good because we're 135 by 135.
Yep.
And weekend and the Monday would go right on the other side of that 135
Yep.
dash vertical line, and that would give us a very solid square. I mean, you can't. There's no way to argue with that. And I'm thinking if so, we're watching both, right? We're watching the trading day chart, and we're watching the calendar day chart. And either way, we're trying to confirm this. It looks like it could be a significant high, actually, it being a pretty solid straight run right into that sort of a tractor at that corner. If that's the case, we're looking for a high. We were looking for the high to make. Well, we're looking for price to make a lower high following the high. That's kind of what setup we're looking for. So we'll see what happens. For now, not much to do. Price came right up to the sort of the doorstep, and we'll see what happens from here. I want to go to the weekly chart. Now on the weekly, we had this, well, let's just say bigger ABCD run. We didn't quite get up to it. We don't have to. Not that, it actually means anything. I mean, that's not the tool that we're trading off of. The point here on the weekly is how steep the climb was. It was way more than a 1x1, which puts it into a very, very steep ascent. So normally when we finish up steep like that, it wouldn't be unnatural to have if we expired the cycle here, just like we saw that 135 by 135 square, and the weekly being in a very bullish run like this, it wouldn't be unusual for us to have, consolidate or trade lower for a couple 3 months, right? That would be like normal correction. And even if we do a normal correction, I mean, the old highs are back at 4,800, 4,815. So there's plenty of room to correct in that sense, right? And it'll still be very bullish in the bigger picture. The point is, how important are these terminations? Is this termination, if that daily square pans out, is it something that could call the high for a decade, or is it just for a couple of months, or is it weeks? So we'll take a look at that in the coming days. For now, we're not in that kind of a jam because we're not squeezed for time. So on the cash, we came, I had that circle drawn up, and we looked at this chart earlier. I posted it on Twitter. I mean, we touched that circle perfectly.
Yep.
We do have a fork. It went up and hit the fork, the center of the fork, and the ABCD is not bad.
That's nice.
Yeah, and on the cash index, I think these things would matter more because we don't have the contract change like we do on the future side.
Right.
And so on a weekly basis, we can, this is not bad. We got pretty close. And these circles, Ben, about these. And when they hit, boy,
they're fantastic.
They can be really good early warning sort of signals. And I wanted to show you this. I thought I'll be able to draw it on the other one. I had done it before the show. So anyway, there you go. So we have other evidences, I guess is my point here. It's not just about the 135 by 135 on the calendar.
Right.
We also have that. So this is the E-mini, this is the futures market. So on the cash, we have that. Here, not quite, but we do have other divisions that are coming up. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think that's enough for the S&P.
I like the price action in it on the timing that we're getting, and it's promising. Now we have to see if we get follow through.
It's all coming in at a very, these very good squares. So we definitely have to watch those. And they only come, I mean, like a 135 comes only so often.
Sure.
And well, here's the Dow. Just wanted to bring it up. We did run 360-day full cycle off the October low in 22.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's kind of an expiration, right? So we made a high right into it. We did make a lower high, and then we traded lower. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really watching this to see if we take this low out. Somehow we take out the lows we made this week. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be important. But so far, Dow did come up, made the high earlier and a lower high. I just want to bring it to your attention. We're not going to do much until we see the price action shape up on the S&P daily.
Mm-hmm.
Is that anything you want to add to that?
No, but it's just it's a time to keep your head on a swivel and really,
Mhm.
really pay attention to the price action.
Because we're in the window.
We are
We're in
in the
we're in a
window,
window.
no
Mhm.
question.
All right, let's move on to bonds. Well, I was scanning through this before we did the show, and I'm like, wow, I hope you guys are really watching every episode because we cover these and they've been really good. And I
Mhm.
was just
Yeah,
talking to myself.
yeah.
And we'll see as we go. But so the bonds, Ben, I remember you calling out this ABCD that came down to the lows. We
Hmm.
held it there. We had resistance, this basic box with the resistance. And we kind of, we spent about a week right below it, sort of building up some steam and moved higher this week. Now we're on top of the box. So I would say bonds are kind of in a stronger position. It's still, didn't take out the square. We went up to 72 degrees, then ABCD down. Now the key, what to see is, I mean, I don't think this is a low for a new rally, just from the pattern and how the squares are working out.
Hmm.
The question now is if we're going to just sort of spike up here, maybe get to 124 and trade lower, or if we're going to consolidate above 19 and a half for a while. And
Right.
that's all I see for now. I don't really see a bull market in the bonds yet. Yeah, is that
No, I'm with you. It to
okay?
me, are we going to push up and rally a little more, or are we going to roll over here? I just, it's a matter of
Mm,
trying to triangulate where we're going to roll over there.
right. And I think the weekly sheds a little bit better light and
Sure does.
a better view, right?
Yeah. Same
And you
with the
can,
monthly. The
mhm,
monthly, Barry, we got three inside bars on the 30 year. So it's just
wow.
really grinding away.
So here, we still have a box and we're below it. We have all this overhead, and 128.07 was the key level. You guys can see it. We sat on top of it, did it go under it. Right here, we were trying to break through. We couldn't, made a lower high and traded lower. So that 128.07 is still there. And we have plenty of overhead. So I feel like it's just going to consolidate here without
Yeah.
any big runs in any direction.
Hmm. I think
And the
that's a
low,
good
yeah,
summation.
thanks. And the low didn't quite square out, so I think we're okay to watch
Hmm.
it for a bit. Next, let's take a look at crude. Quiet week.
Another violently sideways week for crude.
Mhm. With a big difference, which is it's above our
It's
50% of the.
above. Yeah.
So we're
Yep.
holding above the 77 level. And I don't know if you guys can see this. We have this dashed line coming from the high, and we bumped up against it 3 days, right?
Hmm.
3 or 4 days, basically. And that line is coming up from the high
The
back
high.
in the high in 22,
Yeah.
and the lows. I mean, this is a very good channel line. So as far as channels go, well, the reason I bring that up is if a very good channel line being broken means we're going to have a very strong move in the other direction.
Hmm.
So we really have to watch this, especially, we bounced off the midline here. It's been very, very active. So the thing to watch, what I'm really seeing is a triangle between the upper channel line and the
And a
50% of the
50. Yeah,
square,
it's
right?
getting squeezed. Yep.
So let's watch, long as we're above 77, I think, we can take off on short notice. If we get under 77, then 73.50 to 77 is sort of the consolidation area. Just keep that in mind. And as long as we're above 77, just keep an eye out because we could run on very short notice.
Hmm.
And here's the weekly, looking pretty good. I would say, yeah, we have a timing line, but we're kind of consolidating into it. Again, we're above the 50% line, which is around 73 and a half or so. That's quite a ways from from where we are now. So long as we're above that, it's in very firm grounding. And here's the next box up here. It's quarter of the square. 79.60 or so is where we want to settle above it. And once we can settle above that 79.50 area, I think it's in a better sort of stage to move higher and maybe even check out some of these higher numbers. Check out the upper end of the 90s.
Sure.
And I mean,
For now, it's quiet.
for now, yeah. Just watch that 77 level, see which way it wants to move, and trade. These things you don't want to get in there and trade when it's sideways. And we know clearly it's sideways. The only thing that happened last few weeks was really to test the 50% and get on top of it, right? So that's very
Which was
positive.
important, but now
Very
it's got
important.
to do the next thing, which is rally off of it.
So my thing is to watch to see, can we take out this channel line? We can take out the upper channel. That's very positive. Now here's market
the star of the
sleep.
show this week.
Exactly, the sleeper. And this is the one I was watching gold. We called it out every step of the way. So here's
and the key thing is all through that consolidation, when everybody was frustrated, you and I kept saying, yes, it's sideways, but it is bullish. It's sitting on top of previous highs. That is bullish. It's going to break.
Exactly.
And there it is.
And it broke.
Yeah.
There it is. Good trade.
And then it goes.
Trade.
And then it goes. Yeah. Look at how it goes.
And it went right to the 90, which is exactly where we're looking for it to go, 2200. And I remember talking about these. And if you guys trade gold, go check out the old episodes because we really walked through this. We stuck with it and it looks good. Now for next week, it's really about, can we settle above 2200?
Yep.
And even 21, let's say 85, if we can settle above that, somehow consolidate here, gold has more upside.
That half square.
No question about it. We definitely have more upside. Now, if we somehow start consolidating under it, well, that's all right. We'll have to see the quality of the consolidation.
Sure.
Now, this didn't exactly square out, so I'm not thinking, that's a high, we have to sell it now. We're not in one of those. We're not in one of those situations, so we'll just watch it. Very steep move. It's possible that we follow through. Anyway, 2185, 2200, that's the area we want to watch. All right. So gold's doing great.
Yes, no question.
And the weekly looks even better.
Wow, look at that bar.
Look at that. That's not shy. That's not a shy breakout.
Right? That's a powerful breakout because we kept talking about, this thing's winding up. It's going to be a big move when it breaks, and there it is.
There it is. And so we talked about it at 2000, and then we said, well, if we hold 2000, get above the 50% of the square, which was 2060. Then the next step is 2100. If we clear that, 2200 was within reach, and here we are. So basis weekly now, you guys. So what happens as long as we're above 2100, it's super bullish. Any kind of consolidations, even get near it, it's bullish. And for now to really turn this negative, either we'll have to square out in some big way, and the other way is for it to trade below 2060, which I really don't see happening right away. Not with that kind of buying coming in over a month. That's a month of buying straight.
Yeah.
Very powerful. And not much in the news, right?
With very little fanfare, it's doing it, which is even more bullish.
We move on to copper. Probably taking cues from crude, not much.
Violently sideways.
Violently sideways. And kind of like crude, we're holding about this 384 level, which is the 50% of the square. We drew up this box telling you how we're kind of mean reverting around this 50% of the square. And now we're at the upper end. We don't really trade these, so we'll have to wait till it somehow
breaks out.
Yeah, breaks out one or the other. But to say as long as we're above this 50%, the odds are it's going to break to the upside, which seems obvious, but it's good to talk about it.
Right.
The weekly, well, this is where it's violently sideways. Really, what can you say other than stay out?
It's building momentum. Remember, gold was doing the same stuff.
Yeah, it's building over time, definitely. And we tapped the lower part of the fork here, so that's that's something we really want to watch. Are we going to break through it next week? If we do, then I would say, without even thinking twice, copper's on the move. If we stay under the fork somehow, well, it needs more time to consolidate. So we'll see what happens. But for big time bull run, like we saw in 2021, we really needed to get above, let's say 4, kind of settle above this consolidation here.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that, then copper has room to run. For now, not much. It really slowed down. You don't have to be forced to trade it because a lot of trending markets left. Dollar broke through the 50% with gold running up.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it was too shy.
Right.
So, we were sitting on top of the 50% for a while, and the 103.60 is the 50% of the square. We were under for a while, broke on top of it, consolidating on top. And you can see, we started making lower and lower highs and just broke down. Just couldn't keep it. Now, what's under it is we had this big band of support right there. So I'm guessing we're going to hold these lows. So above 102. That would be, I'm guessing we should hold above that. If we do that, it's still positive. Then again, we have to wait to see if we can get over 103.60. If we do that, then we're back on track. But now it's just looking like a big old consolidation. So not much gain, not much lost. We're just back in the middle of this whole consolidation for the last few months. Anything you want to add? Any insights? Anything?
No, I think it's a good call. It's consolidating. It's gotta make its move first to see,
Yep.
either breaking out of this range to give us the idea of where the big move is.
Right. So here, we had an inside bar last week, and I remember talking about, whichever side we break to, that's, we're gonna go. So if you
Yep,
broke to
and
the
that was a good
upside,
call.
yeah, and inside bars, boy, they save your butt every time.
Sure.
And so here we broke to the downside. Well, that's the kind of move you get when inside bars go. And so not much. It might have follow through. There's another trend line below. We'll see. We're kind of watching the dollar right now. Not really tempted to short the dollar at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're going to look at the euro. Euro did pretty well after we talked about this 108 level
Yeah,
we've been
that
watching.
had to hold. Yep.
Yep. So, we were under it, broke up above. You can see we broke up above, came back to test it right there at the 108 time marker, and coming off of that. And this is also 50% of the square. I don't know if you can see the dashed line. It just so happens. And it held it there 3 days, and we rallied. So a little bit like the bonds, we went up 72 and then it corrected, and the low really didn't square out. So the question is, is it a final low? Are we getting ready to rally? My guess is no. I think this is a normal sort of a counter trend in a down move, down leg. So we'll treat it like that for now. Okay, you want to add anything to that?
Nope. Just like you said, that 108 level was key, and when it held
Yeah,
at the half
it
square and
rallied.
the level, nice
Mm-hmm.
rally. It's a
Yep.
perfect example of why we use the squares right there.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly why.
That's right.
All right. So looking at the weekly, I mean, there's a 108. I think, that's where we first started using it. And that's that dashed green line you guys see. And the box was where I said, if we get stuck under that, then we're going to get weak down into the lower level below 105. So we're holding, I mean, we have 110 above, almost 111. And then we have 108 here. Down below, where it seems like we're stuck again, and we could easily consolidate here for a while. And again, we had the inside bar last week. Here we broke to the upside, and there's a follow through. So if anything, watch watch the markets that have inside bars and see how it looks. If your system sets up on the other side, so you can pick up some trades.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what else I have. You're going to touch natural gas?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Same. I mean, we could talk about it here though if you want.
Yeah. Well, just that, we came down to 153 was the square, it's
Support.
100
Yep.
support, 135 degrees down, and which is great. That's fine, but we really wanted to sort of take on this overhead that we built up now, and even being able to get above 250 would be a nice gesture. Other than that, we're watching the basing pattern to see if we're
Yeah. See
putting
if
in
we
a
can get
low
a
in
higher
here.
low. Yep.
And continue to crawl up.
hmm
But yeah, I don't have a longer term charts, but this is
I'll
pretty
show
good.
them.
Yeah,
I'll show
okay.
weekly,
Yeah.
monthly.
hmm That said, what else do I have here? Yep, Hang Seng. We have you know, we just review this every week. So we called out this low, came in with an ABCD, had a pretty good rally, and the counter trend is holding pretty well. It didn't come down into the 50% of the square. So this all looks fairly bullish. And I would say, as long as we're above 15,770, Hang Seng's in a bullish position. And once we get about 1/3, which would be 16,529, I would say settling above that would be very bullish. And we can look for it to trade higher. Yep.
Excellent.
So I think the takeaway is this potential square we had on the calendar day chart.
Which
We can.
coincides with the timing we had, both the Rebel Yell cycle
Hmm.
and time counts. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of reason to take heed.
Yes. And we'll watch for the pattern, how it unfolds in the coming days to see if we have
hmm
some kind of a lower high trades. All
Sure.
right. Let me put it back to you. Let's cover all the commodities
Okay.
in a bit. All right. See you in a bit. Ben, we got above the square, but not a lot of follow through. Still kind of just holding.
It's funny that you say that because my notes are we're chopping at the highs.
Yep.
I mean, look at the move. Like let's just go from the this October low.
hmm
Powerful move out, correct.
hmm
Powerful move up, correct.
Correct.
Powerful move up,
hmm
ABC.
hmm
You know, move up into the highs, and now we're going
Yeah.
chopping back and forth. Because we pulled back, tested here, made the high, and now we're still chopping. We can't leave it for some
Yeah.
reason.
hmm
It's late in the game. It's
Yep.
and if we switch to the weekly, you can see why. We're battling this half square is acting as pretty good resistance. 2 weeks in a row, had an kind of an outside bar. I don't know if that low was lower than the other low, but you could see we're at a spot where it's hesitating. Again,
hmm
doesn't mean it's going to crash, but
hmm
maybe we chop around, maybe we correct. We have to see, if we can't get above this like 18,185 level on a weekly basis, then the best case scenario for the bulls is they burn time and chop. Worst case is we got to pull back and test this full square and this high here from the
Yep.
weekly.
Yep.
And it kind of seems like it's long in the tooth. We all know that the time counts are there. Rebel Yell cycle, we get a high.
hmm
We're going to get some kind of reaction. We have to. Our job, as we talked about multiple times on the show, at the end when we talk about how you deal with cycles, our job is to, as quickly as possible, decipher, okay, what is the price action support? Is it a continuation? Is it a consolidation? Or is it a change in direction and a V type of situation?
Right.
For V's, we need to see lower lows and lower highs. For consolidation, we need to see, where the lows don't get taken out, but we're making lower highs and chop that way. And
hmm
fortunately, we've got these levels on the squares where we can make these judgments about what's more likely to happen based on how price is acting at each one. You got anything to add on the daily here?
No, I think we just it just there's not much to do till we get under the square, and long as we're holding the trend line and the square, I think it's just in a bullish stance, and we'll have to trade it that
Yeah.
way.
The price action today was indicative of some sort of climax. Again, we
hmm
don't know what comes next. We were going great guns. I even like was watching Nvidia since it's been leading the pack. Nvidia
hmm
was screaming higher, and then all of a sudden, doom, 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 doom,
Yeah.
doom. It's down, 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 and then of course the NQs followed and the ES as
Right.
well. So
Right. Right.
we got to pay attention. Here's another market, Bitcoin, that made a high and reversed. Now it
Mm-hmm.
recovered by the end of the day. I put this GAN fan on, Barry, because I know you've been
Mm-hmm.
talking about the one by ones and two by
Mm-hmm.
ones and stuff. Look at what this thing's been following. It's been following a four by one.
Right.
If you know anything about, rate of change and geometry, that's not sustainable.
Exactly.
It's tough. It's tough to hold that. And remember, this is on a daily. This is not like a weekly or something. This is on
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
daily basis. And this line here, can you see that gray
Yeah.
line?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it.
That's a four by one. By the way, all the levels for the markets I cover on the show and markets in general are on a Google Doc spreadsheet, which I'll send the link when we post the link to the
Mm-hmm.
show.
And what's that full square level you got there?
Yeah, right here, the full square is around 64,850.
Got it. Okay.
So that's key right now. Get
Mm-hmm.
below that, and then you could say the correction started. I mean, we could pull all the way back to the one by one and still be super bullish. And that's around 57. Well, let's say if it's over here, it's call it like 55, 56,000. And on the upside, if we get above, 69,350, we're off
Mm-hmm.
to the races to the next one, to up to here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's around 73,
Yep.
73,400. Just that when you see these types of moves, if you're still long, just be cautious, right? Keep a tight leash on it.
Yep.
Anything else you have to add here on Bitcoin?
No, I think as long as we're above the square, it's in good shape. Let's just see how it ends.
Yeah, yeah. Let's hope it doesn't end in tears for people. We'll see. I like
Yeah.
Bitcoin. I mean, listen, I'm not a techie guy, but Bitcoin, as I've said on multiple times with on the show with the interviews I've done with Dale Pinkert, it fits
Mm-hmm.
perfectly with the Epic cycle, right? Because it's people basically choosing an alternative system.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Losing faith in the existing system, and they're saying this is the system of money that I'm going to put my faith in. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the trend and the background weather and the cycle certainly support it. You just as a trader, you gotta make risk reward judgments, and it just looks a little toppy here. So we'll see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm.
On the commodities, I'm going to cover all the grains, and I'll show you why. We're going to talk about cotton. We're going to talk about gold, silver, and then we're going to touch on nat gas. So let's
All right.
start. Let's start
Okay.
with the grains. The grains are interesting, as we've talked about for weeks. They've been sort of bleeding lower, but in areas of longer term support when you look at the monthly, weekly charts.
All right.
And they were all trying to do ABCDs to kind of what I was thinking was finish up this move. And today, this morning, when I came in and I started looking at them, I was like, oh, again, it's that drift lower. And then
Mm-hmm.
right near the end of the day, for some reason, they all picked up. And, last 2 hours, they really caught a bid. And I was like, okay, maybe the Rebel Yell cycle is hitting on them, that we're getting a change here in
Mm-hmm.
in the price action. And let's go in and take a look and see, what are we seeing that gives us potential confidence that we could, have make a turn here. Well, on wheat, we completed the ABCD. As you and I talked about, Barry, when it was sort of weakening up here and getting stuck here, it took out the low
Mm-hmm.
barely and then reversed.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't have enough time the end of the day to actually, get up and take it over and make it a guaranteed false break. But
Right.
we got an outside
Got a
bar,
reversal, kind of a reversal.
a kind of an outside reversal bar here. So this is sort of green shoots. And when I looked at sort of other things, if we go on a calendar, if you go on a calendar day chart, 90 days from the December high gives you about I'm not yeah, from the December high gives you it's 225. And that's a good number.
Yeah.
225 is a good number. So does it mean you go in and Monday morning, Sunday night, you buy the futures on wheat? No. What it means is pay attention because it looks like the tide turned in the group today in our cycle window. And
Mm-hmm.
as we go in and we look at actually the ones that were lagging before, which was corn and soybeans, those look like they've actually put in a bottom, and we're going to start to be able to get markers where we can actually trade against there. So let's anything else you want to add on wheat before I jump over to corn?
Well, that's a good observation. Let's see. Let's see how we follow through.
Yeah, we'll see how we follow through
Mm-hmm.
there. Now here's corn. So look at corn, the ABCD to the tick, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then look at the bar on the ABCD.
Another outside
Basically that
reversal.
outside
Yeah.
reversal. Just,
Mm-hmm.
just like the kind of bar we saw on wheat today. So you had an
Mm-hmm.
outside
Mm-hmm.
reversal, pushed up. We had a sneaky little 1 day pullback. See that bar right
Yeah.
there?
I don't know. Yep.
It's hard to see because it's small, but that's a 1 day pullback. And then we reversed hard off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this looks like a low that we can say, that looks pretty good. The ABCD completed. It's 45 by 90
Mm-hmm.
into that low. Um,
I mean,
216
that alone is
calendar,
pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
216 calendar days from the July high.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another decent number. So this low looks pretty good with the ABC, the price action. I really like the way this thing took off here at the end of the day. Now let's go look at the weekly and monthly because we got some more evidence there I want you to see. So here's your
Wow.
weekly
Look at that. Mm-hmm.
ABCD, right?
Yep.
And when we hit that, we got the reversal this week. We hit the low last week. This week we get the reversal. And again, look at where this low was coming in. This is the
Yep.
weekly, right? Sitting on
Yep.
top of this was the
Mm-hmm.
move into the, Russia invading Ukraine. Here's your
Mm-hmm.
correction. And we might have ended it there with a nice reversal week here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's jump over and look at the monthly. Hold on. Monthly's the same thing. This one's on the half square though. And look at that half square. Good timing there too, right?
Looks good. I think this is definitely this could be the low
And
for the
look at
correction.
again, look left here and see why,
Mm-hmm.
we were saying, hey, let's watch this thing and see if we can't triangulate the low because you're in an area where, we previously had highs and all you're on top of all this now that we're above this half square.
Right.
Now the monthly bar still has a couple weeks to go. Hopefully we can actually print an up bar and that would give
Mm-hmm.
us a nice reversal there on a monthly basis too. But corn looks pretty good that way.
Yep. Yep.
Anything else you have to add? I know you look at it differently than I do. Are you seeing anything that stands out?
Well, I think we could have. There's a good chance that we have a low, and I
Mhm.
think getting about 450 would probably seal the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why.
450 is the half square here too,
Yeah.
right there. So let's watch it this coming week. It's interesting that the laggards are sort of leading the grains out. Now let's look at soybeans because this
Mm-hmm.
was another
Mm-hmm.
this is another one that was just relentlessly going down. You look at the daily and you can see what people were dealing with here. This is just
Yeah. Yeah.
down, 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 down. Then we do the ABCD again, little tricky reversal here, right?
Yeah. Back on up. Yep.
1 2 day pullback and then 2 days in a row, Thursday, Friday, closing on the high. What else do I have on soybeans?
Well, they
Uh,
all look like they turned on the mark. So now
yeah.
we have to see how it follow through looks like.
And on this one from the July high, it's 225 calendar days high to low,
Okay.
which is again another good number. Let's look at the
Yep.
weekly. Weekly reversal, complete the ABCD.
Mm-hmm.
We got the reversal on a weekly basis. So that looks promising. Let's go to the monthly. I mean, this is the signature you want to see, right? Complete the ABCD and
Absolutely.
have the reversal.
Absolutely.
So from these pieces of evidence, I was looking at this afternoon and I put it together on this day. We're catching these bids. It's a very important cycle date. There's other timing that Barry went over with geometric timing counts. It looks like for some reason money shifted into this group today, and we may have put in a low here that we need to track with higher lows, higher highs, and that sort of thing to have the confidence that they're in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they look good. Anything else you want to add on beans?
Well, I think it's time to watch the grains again.
Yep, that's what the market's telling us. All right, let's take a look at one that we've been on that's been a good one for us recently, and that's cotton. And what do I want to show you about cotton? So cotton was in this 16, 17-month channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we were tracking and saying, okay, when we get the breakout, we're going to get a good move. Well, here we got our breakout, right? We broke out of the channel, came back and tested the half square, couldn't even get down to it. So that showed strength. Went up, tried the full square, failed, pulled back right into the trend line that we could set. And now we're sort of building this little, looks like a triangle,
Hmm.
which when I go on the higher time frames, you'll see for the next push higher. Remember, as long as we build this structure here above this half square, we're sitting on top of all of this. And that's the powder keg that we hope it sits on top of. It's pulled back. It's messing around. It's almost looking, very sloppy, like wave four-ish here.
Hmm.
That maybe it chops around and messes around here and tries to shake people out before the next move up. But we know as long as we're above this full square, we're in good shape. I'm sorry, half square, not
Half
full
square.
square.
Yep.
Half
Yep.
square. As long as we're above this half square, we're in good shape.
Very good shape, and it could be a second chance to get in.
That's the way I'm looking at it. For people
Hmm.
that didn't get in, it gives you a decent entry. Let's look at the weekly. So the weekly inside bar, right? And you
Yep.
could see maybe we even get a tighter range next week and a tighter range, and we start forming a triangle. This thing loves to form triangles. You can see
Hmm.
them over here. It likes to do triangles. On the monthly, you can even see it more. Let's jump over to the monthly. Here's the last one, last big one, right?
Hmm.
And look at the move out of there. So here we have an inside bar, but we closed on the full square.
Yep.
And again, when you look left, look at everything that's under that line. It's
Yep.
all that support. So maybe we triangulate for another week or so, or another month or so, or could be a couple months. But the break out of these triangles is pretty fantastic.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we know the levels. If we get below this half square, then we got to say, okay, what's going on? Are we just dipping back into this, or is it a problem? And if we break this trend line, then we got to say, okay, it was a false break up, and we're just back in this mess. So we know the levels to watch. Any other insight on cotton?
Well, if it pulls back to that 50% of the square, I think it's probably one of the best places to enter a trade. So, from
Absolutely.
risk perspective, so yeah, it's a place to get in.
I agree. Looking good there. All right, let's go look at the
I'm not bullish at
metals.
all.
No, I could tell. Talking your book again, Barry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is the monthly on gold. What I wanted to do was give Barry covered the daily and the weekly pretty well. What I want to give is a perspective on this monthly. Number one, we're getting a full bar that's going to be on top of this half square as long as we stay above it.
Hmm.
And when you look left, what do you see? Everything is below it.
Yep. And what a
So
clean
this
breakout, that
this
breakout
is a
was.
major breakout that as long as we sit on top of this, say 2056, 2050 level in there,
Hmm.
we're in good shape.
Yeah.
It
Very
can
good.
pull right back to there, and all we would be doing is testing this high, testing this high, testing this high, and we'd
Yeah.
still be way above this high. So this is I know gold has had a bunch of false starts and everybody hates it and nobody likes it, which is probably why it's going to keep running.
Hmm.
Um, but this is a real break. This is a real good break that the monthly full square target right here is
Hmm.
2313. That gets us to the full square. And this isn't just wild prediction. It's all a matter of if in the month of March we stay above 2056, like for the next 2 to 3 weeks, we stay above this, so we could chop
Hmm.
around. We don't need to rally. The magnet's going to be up here at 2313 on a full square basis. Let me drop down to the weekly here. And we were talking about the triangle, it potentially forming in. This is what happens when these bigger time frame triangles get busted. And look at that. We broke through, and the next week, what happened? We sat on top,
Right on top of it.
boom.
Yeah. Mhm.
And now we got a weekly close above this half square, right? And that's what's that? 2178. We got a weekly close above it. So next week, if we don't trade below 2178, here's the push. 2270. That's the next level. And again, just look left and what do you see? That's below you. That's
Yep.
below you. That's
Yeah.
below you. And this is what Barry kept going over every time he was in gold for the last, year and a half or so. We were saying,
Mhm.
oh, it's frustrating, it's chopping, but look, it's chopping on, at the highs, at the all-time highs. It wasn't down here, it wasn't over here, it wasn't under all this with this above. It was with all this, right across from it. So that's the powerful structure that lets when The odds are it's going to break up, and when it breaks up, it should be a pretty good move, and there it is.
Hmm.
And again, this is weekly basis. This isn't like a hourly chart or anything. Let's go to I mean, you covered gold, so anything else you want to add?
No, I think long as we hold about those key levels, it's in good shape. Could go higher for sure. I mean, look at that breakout. It's a huge breakout on the weekly.
And that's a weekly. That's a weekly
Hmm.
chart.
Hmm.
All right, let's take a look at silver. Silver's at a really interesting spot, and we're going to go over it. So we broke out of this triangle. When we broke out of it last week, and I was going to talk about it, and I said, you know what? We're still in this sort of this half square that has, or if you look at it as a full square, that has been defining the price action for a long time, with most of it being in this half square, right? From this like 2270 to 2450, 2460. That's captured price for a long time.
Hmm.
And this week we pushed up and we're testing it. Of course, we closed right on the half square,
Yep.
but this thing looks like it's ready to catch up and ready to, the key is, can we clear this half square, get a full bar over it, call it 2460. If we can
Hmm.
sit on top of that, it gives us a potential to launch out of here, because every time fail, fail,
Yeah.
fail,
Yeah.
fail, fail over here.
Hmm.
Here we got above it, sat on top of it, but then boom, pushed right back down. Here, pushed up, came right back down. So you can see how important this level is. Just based on the momentum and the price action, though, I think this may be the next metal to give us a gold type move in a catch up move. But we'll see. Let me see what else do I have to show you on silver. Let's look at the weekly. And you can see why this level is so important. There's your weekly. See
There
why
we
it's
go.
important?
Yep.
Right there. So it's a critical level, right? We get up here, it opens up this entire half square, which takes us up to about 28. I drew in this ABCD in case it's doing that, and that gets us up to 30. But the first thing we got to do is get above
Yeah, that's kind of
this
critical. Yep.
this key level, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Clear
Get above
that,
25 and we're in good shape.
and then we're in really good shape. And let's look
Mhm.
at the monthly. We've been talking about triangles. There's another triangle. So you can see why silver's lagging gold. It's got work to do, right?
Yeah.
It's got to clear this, 25, call it 2484, 20, say 25. Get above 25, and then the weekly's opened up to the next level. And on the monthly, let's say the full square is the triangle break here, 2660. Once we clear that, then we're above all of this.
Hmm.
And then we start chewing through this amount and activating this. Because again, we sit on top of this, Barry. We sit on top of 2670.
It's
Opens up the
powerful.
halves,
Yeah. Very powerful.
gets you up to about 38.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing on silver. Any comments on silver? You want to look at the daily, weekly, monthly? What do you got?
I think we're good. It's a good, we saw the breakout. Monthly is getting ready. A lot of, number of multiple years are winding up
Mhm.
and we could get to 50, if not higher.
That's right.
You know,
That I think
I mean,
that's
the
a that
entire thing, the bottoming process started, 2014, 10 years,
yeah. Yep,
roughly, right? 10 years.
that's right. And then you had, of course, like we like to talk about. Look at that false break right there.
Yep. Right before we moved.
How
Yeah.
great is that, right?
It's classic silver,
It's
right?
it's uncanny. Yeah, you study the charts and you see this in all of these major markets. Before it makes a big move in one direction, it takes out all the stops in the opposite direction and gives you a false break.
Yep.
So if you can look for that pattern and notice it, man, can that help your trading?
Yep.
It'll help you get the direction. All right, let's end on that gas, our old familiar friend.
Hmm.
So, what do I want to show you on this? Well, we came down and we couldn't clear this full square, right? We came down, had a false break here and a reversal, and now we've had the first thrust up and a pullback. What do we want to see? We want to see it sit on top of this full square. So
Or
160,
higher. Yeah.
yeah, 162, 163 max.
Hmm.
If we can reverse, on Monday, Sunday night, Monday would be even better because then we probably break this steep downtrend line and we can get some traction. As you can see when you look left, the big thing is we got to get above this half square, right? We got to
Yeah.
leave all that price action from early from February to May, June of 23 below us.
Hmm.
And you were saying that's around 250. Yours was about 250. I'm at about 225.
Yeah.
We got to get above that.
Yeah.
But this is a first decent sign. Now, why am I even looking at this? Because, we could just come down and make a lower low, which is
Hmm.
completely possible. The reason why we're looking at it, here's your
That's
weekly
why. Yeah.
in that value area.
Yep.
And on the weekly, we actually have two up bars, Barry.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's little green shoots here, but it's something to watch. And again, because of the value area. On the monthly, let's go to the monthly, because on the monthly, you really see the difference.
Wow. Look at that.
Every time we've gotten down here, going back to 93, 94, it's been a value. And we're an
Basically, buying
inside
down here, it wouldn't have been wrong.
and
Right?
and we have an inside bar so far. We have to see how the month plays out, but it's
Hmm.
it's it's the reason why we begin looking at it. And I think, Barry, I want to end. That's all we've got for the commodities, but I want to end with what I think is an important question that traders will value what we say in our discussion about it is when you're looking at a market, what time frame do you focus on? Because I know that Gann said, and this is going to blow people away. Gann says you should focus on the monthly weeklies because even the dailies are not reliable.
Hmm.
There's too much noise on a daily. And we got most people now, trading 0 days to expiration options and they want to focus on 30-second charts or tick charts and
Right.
Gann's telling us, dailies are a little too
Noisy.
unreliable. Right? It's too noisy to be reliable.
Hmm.
Exactly. He
Hmm.
actually said that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so how do you balance this idea to be like, okay, I want to trade on the fastest time frame possible so I get the best entry, the best exit, all that, while
Hmm.
making sure you have a big enough time frame to capture the right move.
I'll tell you, it depends on the style of trading. If somebody were to be investing for their retirement, for example, then monthly and weekly charts are just fine. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you'd really want to use that and catch the turns and the trends starting on those because they're more reliable and the moves last longer. If you're day trading, I would say, let's say you're using 5-minute charts, 4-minute charts, then you can trade that. You can get tripped into the trade using the lower time frame and then watch the 30-minute, the 4 hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then throw in the daily for good measure.
Right.
4 hours very good. Of course, they're all noisy, but it really depends on what you're trading. If you're down at the 30-minute level, then 4 hours is not bad, and you probably learn to deal with the noise, right? At that
Mm-hmm.
at that level. And I think it's just sequencing um, what the system is kicking out. Like if your system is looking at the daily, then you can use the daily fine. Yeah, it's noisy, but then you can lean on the weekly to really get the major turning points. With the daily, it's going to be hard to get the major ones because it can only look at so much data.
Mm-hmm.
And monthly is a little bit too slow for most humans. So
I mean, it's a perfect example. Look at on the monthly, looking at natural gas, you can see, okay, the lows here are an
mm,
area
mm,
where
mm.
historically has been support, but you don't get that same feeling looking at the daily.
No, not at
Because
all.
that,
I think
that
daily could be, I mean, commodities daily should be just for entries,
hmm
and also to confirm that, when you get like we've been doing these little single stock analysis on Tuesdays.
Yep.
So if just the same way, you want to look at a monthly just to frame where you are. Let's say you started trading today. You want to know, well, how has it been doing? You'd want to look at the monthly and and see where we are. If you looked at go back to that monthly natural gas you had.
Yeah, hold on.
Mhm.
There you go.
So if somebody were to start today, they'd look it's very easy to see where the value area is. Now, is it the time to get in? Like if you look at 2020, if you got in, you could hang in there for a number of months before anything
Hmm.
happened.
Right.
And you want to carry that kind of risk. So what I do is, I mean, one of the ways to handle it is to look at the monthly, weekly to find price and time areas, especially price, and then look to see if you have your daily cycles expiring right into that. Just
Hmm.
like we're doing with natural gas. We're looking at the monthly and the weekly, then we see the daily is coming right into it in some kind of a ABC or some kind of other pattern, or a square out. And
Hmm.
once we have that, that adds that's like the, I don't know, how would you call that?
The
It's sort of a,
stacking of the evidence, basically.
it's a stacking, and it's like the trigger. Weekly can't
Hmm.
be this trigger, is a little bit too slow, but the daily could be used for a trigger. I think Gann was talking in terms of counts and everything else, because the calendar days and the trading days and the holidays and the weekends,
Right.
when you throw everything in there,
Sure.
the daily does get noisy and the counts go off a little bit, and you have contract changes, and we can't even make the contracts. Not too many software support that, how to make like the Gann style charts where you connect
Hmm.
June over June over June instead of ongoing um, rollovers
Contracts. Yeah.
contracts. So all that stuff distorts the price. And for the longer terms, it definitely distorts. That's why I'm always looking for less than 3 month sort of squares and runs on the daily, but I lean on the weekly for the bigger picture, because
Sure.
it's a little bit more stable, because it's
It's
still
a little cleaner
little.
data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the monthly is even cleaner, but the thing is, then you have to wait like half your lifetime for a setup. So
Well, and the perfect example, right? We're sitting now, we're talking about monthlies, and it's March 8th, right? We got
Mhm.
what, 22 days or 21, 22, 23 days left in the month.
Exactly. But we know, like
Um,
looking at the monthly here, it's easy to see, hey, we're in a really key area. So all that means is now you can jump down to the daily and wait for some kind of a uh, setup to get you into a trade. So you have to
that's
have a
right.
system, obviously, a way to get in. And
Here we're trying to see, do we get a higher low and a reversal? Then we can say,
exactly,
okay,
exactly.
that's a good entry, because then I have
And,
a defined risk and a way to really measure the risk reward.
I mean, really, in the way where I was speaking about it in all the different time frames, it comes down to, it really depends on what you're trading and your own time frame, and the time frame the trader likes to trade. If it's short term, sure, you don't need to look at the monthlies, because it really wouldn't make any sense. If you're
Right.
day trading, daily is probably the highest you need to go,
Hmm.
unless you really want to know where the bigger corners are, and if you don't, then anything less than the daily works just fine. But if you're more of a position trader, then clearly you want to know where the monthly, weekly charts are doing, and
Hmm.
where those squares are, where those levels are. So I think it really depends on the trader. But having multiple charts, I mean, I know some people like to just trade the charts, only look at the charts that they trade. But I think looking at multiple frames helps you have a better understanding. Just because we can't just, it's very difficult to picture weekly just looking at the daily.
Agreed.
you
No,
know,
no question. And it
just our
does
own
give you a
limitation.
different perspective,
Well,
when you
yeah,
look
yeah.
when you look at those charts. So and it's a valuable perspective, I think. Anyway, I thought it was a decent topic for us to discuss. We could talk for hours about this one, because it really is.
It is,
It
and
really
if
is.
he, and I was just going to say quickly, if people want to look at that perspective and how you can do multiple time frames, they can look at the stocks that we do every Tuesday,
Yep.
and that's exactly what we do. Kind of build it up from the monthly, weekly, and get down to the daily. And if somebody were to watch a series of them, they can see how the logic of building it up. You know, so I just want to add that.
No, it's great. Listen,
Mhm.
great show, good review, Barry. I think you nailed and we nailed this time window. It looks like we're getting
Yeah.
a reaction. It's really important for people to watch the price action Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, because this is, you sort of watch it going in, and then you watched it coming out, and then as quickly as possible decipher, okay, what's the effect of the cycle, and what's changed, and how has price action changed, so that what's the best course of action for you to take regarding that market. So
Exactly.
uh, as we always say, rest up this weekend. You're going to need it. 2024 is living up to the billing of not being boring, and I think we're going to continue to see it. So great job, Barry, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks, Ben. And just a quick reminder for everybody, if you guys like our work, to subscribe, like, and click on the alerts so you guys get the notices. Thanks. Good
We'll
job,
see you
Ben.
later. All
Talk to you
right.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.